Lori Haltz Anderson was born Lori Beth Haltz on October 23, 1961, in Potsdam, New York. The daughter of a pastor, Lori grew up in a religious household and discovered writing early, claiming she has loved writing since second grade. For the duration of her elementary school and middle school life, Lori's father worked at Syracuse University as the United Methodist chaplain. However, around the time when she became a teenager, her father quit his job in a protest against church policy. With her transition from middle school into high school, Lori experienced a despicable year, facing new problems and frustrations that led to a formative time in her life. As she recalls,
"My freshman year in high school kind of resembled Melinda's. My family had moved the summer before, and I started ninth grade without knowing anyone. These were complicated by the fact that my family was going through a small nuclear meltdown. My father had quit his job for some very good reasons, but he was wretchedly unhappy. Money was tight, we were in a new place, and the world felt foreign and scary to me. On the positive side, feeling isolated gave me, and Melinda, a useful perspective of the absurdities of high school culture. A couple of the incidents from Speak were taken right out of my real life. I was the obnoxious kid in English class who grilled my teacher about symbolism and refused to accept her answer. My father buried several toxic stew experiments in the backyard, honest, and the real-life mascot of my high school was, and is, a hornet, and yes, we used to sing the Horny Hornet chant, though the cheerleaders did not have a special dance, nor were we ever videotaped by a television station.
After attending Fayetteville Manlius High School in Manlius, New York for 3 years, Lori chose to spend her senior year studying abroad in Denmark, where she worked on a farm and milked cows. She later claimed that,
"The smartest thing I ever did was spend my senior year of high school overseas. I took some time off after high school, then I went to community college before transferring to a 4-year school. I marched to the beat of my own drum. I wrote books instead of staying in a cubicle job."
After graduating from Georgetown University in 1984, Lori worked as a freelance reporter for newspapers and magazines for several years, before pursuing a full-time career in writing. Initially, Lori focused on picture books, and she published her first 2 children's books, Indito Runs and Turkey Pox, in 1996. However, with the 1999 publication of Speak, her first young adult novel, Lori found great critical and commercial success. As she describes it,
"After a few years of hard work, the tides turned, the rejections slowed, editors started to call, offering contracts. I published 3 picture books and wrote 2 nonfiction books, one for adults and one for kids. Then Speak came out. I quit the bookstore and concentrated on writing for kids, little kids, medium-sized kids, and teenagers. People read my books. I was an author."
What makes Speak such a compelling and engaging novel is Anderson's ability to meld a unique writing voice with powerful subject matter. Anderson's narrative voice, established with Speak's protagonist, Melinda, tends to be conversational in style and honest in discussion of topics. With Melinda, Anderson combines a biting wit with realistic adolescent fears and concerns. In fact, readers often find themselves alternating between laughing and crying over the course of the book.
These days, it's very easy because my house has been overrun by teenagers. When I wrote Speak, however, my kids were in elementary school. To get a sense of the rhythm of high school speech, I spent a lot of time at Taco Bell and in the food court at the mall. We won't talk about what those field trips did to my waistline. I also found a piece of Melinda's voice in my own high school experience. Emotions don't change much from generation to generation. You just have to get the details right.
In subsequent novels, Anderson has utilized the same storytelling style with slight variations, usually leaning towards serious narrations rather than straight comedy. Additionally, Anderson tends to utilize a recurring central motif, symbol, or illusion to bind her stories together. In Speak, she uses the metaphor of a tree to show Melinda's growth, and quarter report cards at the end of each section to show her scholastic and psychological progress.
I don't send messages. I try to tell good stories. But if you like a book and it's well written, you usually learn a couple of things. Good books reflect the human experience, and we all learn from that.
Since the publication of Speak, Anderson has tackled a variety of subject matter, ranging from colonial-era historical fiction to contemporary problem novels that address a wide range of teen issues and challenges. The next book published after Speak was Fever 1793, a historical fiction novel that brings to life the yellow fever epidemic that struck Philadelphia shortly after the end of the Revolutionary War. Her second young adult book, Catalyst, tackles fractured families, teen stress, sexual abuse, teen parenting, and family deaths. While the book has a tone and style in the manner of Speak, in fact, the main character of Speak, Melinda, even makes an appearance, Catalyst falters a bit by trying to tackle too many teen problems and even falls dangerously close to melodrama. Anderson followed Catalyst with lighter fare, 2005's Prom, which details a teen girl's attempt to salvage her high school's prom after the money for the event is stolen by a faculty advisor. After Prom, Anderson tried her hand at writing a book from the perspective of a teenage male. The result, Twisted, is a story about a teen who finds himself suddenly cooler after committing a crime and being forced to repent via physical labor. Over the course of the novel, he must deal with his newfound popularity and determine what kind of a man he wants to be. Following the release of Twisted, Anderson returned to historical fiction with Chains, a novel that details the life of Isabel, an enslaved 13-year-old girl living during the time of the Revolutionary War. Chains, which addresses the hypocrisy of American slavery at a time when the nation's founders were fighting for liberty, received a number of awards upon its release, including the Scott Odell Award for Historical Fiction. In 2009, Anderson released what might arguably be her most haunting novel, Winter Girls. Like Speak, the chilling Winter Girls portrays teen depression and eating disorders in an unflinchingly honest manner. In October 2010, Anderson released a follow-up to Chains. The sequel, entitled Forge, continues the story of Isabel and her companion, Corzin, as they flee from slavery and fight in the Battle of Valley Forge.
I think I would like me. Teenage me would admire how grown-up me doesn't care about what other people think. Teenage me would roll her eyes at my wardrobe, though. I'd get points for staying in shape. I'd lose points for going to bed so early. When I was a teenager, I dreamed about escaping. I was lucky. I succeeded.
Over the last decade, Laurie Haltz Anderson has established herself as one of the foremost young adult authors in contemporary fiction, and she shows no signs of slowing down. While Anderson's characters always seem to face overwhelming circumstances, her stories remind us that the human spirit is capable of overcoming any obstacle. In this way, she provides hope and reassurance to high school readers who struggle with life on a daily basis. Because Anderson has been able to put her own despicable year behind her, we can take solace in the fact that the pain of our own personal tragedies will fade away in the years to come.
And thoughts they fade.